About Time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. You know, without me, there's no y'all. You know, without y'all, there's no About Time Boxing. You know, so I appreciate all of the love and the support, you know, that I've been consistently getting from everybody. Shout out to my guy, Mark Nash. Keep doing your thing, man. Listen, I always appreciate those words of encouragement, man, and that stuff stick with me every day. I appreciate you for that. And hopefully, you know, I will see you, you know, at the top, or, you know, and everybody support my man, Mark Nash. Go to his YouTube channel and subscribe to his channel. And my guy, Rebel Life Boxing, you know, at Rebel Life, you know, shout out to my guy, Rebel Life Boxing, you know, and MZ, always, you know, MZ Talk Boxing, you know, subscribe to both of their channels too, you know. So, you know, those three people that I named, they always give me, you know what I'm saying, like they've given me words of encouragement, man. They showed me love, and I show love back, and it's genuine, you know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to New Media, you know, for, you know, keeping this thing going. All right, so Shawn Porter, Terence Crawford, my post-fight views and the aftermath. Now, I mean, you know, I don't even know where to actually start from here, but I told y'all that Terence Crawford would catch him. I told you, I said Terence Crawford is going to catch him with something late in the fight and stop him. And I said between the 8th and 11th or 7th, or the 7th and 11th or 8th and 11th round, somewhere in one of the videos I mentioned that leading up to the fight. I said that he would catch him with something late in the fight and he would stop him, and that's exactly what happened. And here's why. Now, for all of the people who gave me flack about, oh, you just hating on Shawn Porter, you don't like Shawn Porter. No, it's not that. I do like Shawn Porter, and I think that he's a good fighter. But when they first started promoting this fight, that he said that him and Terence, he said that you know, that they was at the best. Okay, as a fighter, you should have that type of confidence. So I don't knock him for that. But when you watch boxing and you study boxing and you look at, you know, fighters and their styles. And I said that Shawn Porter would fight the same way he fought Errol Spence. I said that that's the same way he was going to fight Terence Crawford. He was just going to try to be more of it. He was going to try to be more aggressive. You know, he was just going to try to be. He was aggressive against Errol Spence. He was just going to try to do the same thing. I mentioned about the bouncing around and the, you know, coming in wild, swinging, to give that appearance that he's doing more. And I did say that some shots would get through, and some shots did get through. But what else did I say? What else did I talk about? Adjustments. Making the necessary adjustments. And Shawn Porter couldn't do it. I respect the hell out of Shawn Porter. Please, I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying or think that I'm knocking Porter. I'm saying he's a bad fighter or none of that. No, that man was a 2-time world champion. You can't do that if you're not on a certain level. So he's definitely apex level material. But he couldn't make the adjustments when needed. And if you watch the fight, even when he was catching, because some people had Porter ahead in the fight, you know, I thought that, you know, Terence got out on some rounds, and then some rounds Porter got out. But again, Terence Crawford did what some fighters, like what Caleb Plant, didn't do. You know, that's why he, you know, more than likely lost to Canelo, you know, not having the power to back him up, but didn't tie him up when he needed to. You see, people used to knock Floyd, like, oh, he grabbing and holding, certain fighters grabbing and holding. No, that's strategic. That's smart. That's called making an adjustment. If somebody is doing something, you tie him up. so that I said Caleb Plant, I said, if he feel like Canelo getting out on, he need to tie him up, frustrate him, force him to get reset so that he can get reset himself. And you see what I'm saying? So when Terence Crawford, he tied Shawn Porter up when he felt like it was necessary. And guess what? When they started out in the first round boxing, all right, when Shawn Porter seemed like he, some shots was getting through and all that, what did Terence Crawford do? Made the adjustment. He switched. Boop. And started fighting a fight like that. And then made more adjustments as the fight went on, as he needed, to ultimately gain the advantage that led him to stopping Shawn Porter. And that's what he did. But now I will say this. I don't care what nobody say. If y'all watch the post-fight press conference, Shawn Porter mentioned, his dad, because his father stopped it. Shawn Porter said, I didn't expect it. But I told y'all leading up to this fight, I felt like that there was some trouble, some issues that has not been made public yet between him and his father. That respect is always going to be there. But I told y'all I felt like there were some issues between him and his father. And I repeatedly mentioned that in the countless videos that I did leading up to that fight. His father stopped that fight, and Shawn Porter said, I didn't expect that. He said, I didn't expect it. Now, even though in the post-fight, press conference, Shawn Porter said, he wasn't able to protect himself the way he, needed to, or quick enough, to stop Terence Crawford's onslaught. But looking at Shawn Porter, he was very disappointed. Not only in the fact that he lost the fight, but that he felt like his father took that opportunity away from him. That's what I see. Okay, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share this video, hit that notification bell. Drop them comments in the comment section below. Now, I'm reading in between the lines here. Now, maybe I'm misreading, but I'm telling y'all, there's some problems between him and his father. And I also said that if Shawn Porter lost to Terence Crawford, and if he lost to him in dramatic fashion, that Shawn Porter, I said if he continues to fight, he's going to look for a new trainer. I said, or unless he plans on retiring or something. That's what I said too. And look at what Shawn Porter did. Said he was retiring. And maybe that was his way of not wanting to hurt his father's feelings, or telling his father, like, you my trainer. You're responsible for preparing me for these big fights. And you can't get me over that hump. So rather than to bring in a new trainer and hurt your feelings like you brought in some new fighters and hurt my feelings, because leading up to the fight, Shawn Porter talked about how his dad brought in some young guys, some new fighters, and was working with them, and he said he kind of felt jealous, felt some type of way about it, and then he said he had to look at it like his dad was trying to help other people, and he wanted to work with other fighters. So he said I had to look at it like, nah, it's cool, like everything good now. But he still felt some type of way about that. And he probably felt like by my dad working with these other people, he couldn't fully concentrate on our game plan. And then remember, his father mentioned that he really didn't watch film. You studying your son and looking at everything he's doing wrong. That's what you said, Kenny Porter. You studying your son to see everything that he's doing wrong. Why not take the time to focus on the things that he does right? Why not take the time to study the opposition that he's facing so that you can figure out a game plan on how to penetrate what the opposition does great, so that your son can win them big fights? So even if Shawn Porter don't come out and say it, trust me, he blames his father for every big moment he felt like he should have overcame and won, because he said, listen, my legacy depends on this fight. Shawn Porter said that. He said his legacy depends on that fight. And he said, I don't want to be looked at as the guy who always get these big moments, looked at this guy like, oh, Shawn Porter, he's a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but he can't win the big ones. And he said, my legacy rests on this fight. That's why I knew. I said, look, if he loses to Terence Crawford and he loses in dramatic fashion, and he did, I said, nope. Either he's going to find another trainer or he's going to retire or something. And I said that. Y'all can go back and look at the videos. All of them. And you're going to see. And, you know, his five, you know, and when he, now, because the first time he got knocked down, okay. Then the second time he got knocked down, you seen him beating on the mat with his gloves like, damn, like he got me again. But I'm telling you, Shawn Porter felt like he could have made it out of that round and maybe regrouped and made it into that next round. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And listen, y'all don't have to agree with me now. Y'all don't have to. But at some point, as the years pass on, when he go back and he keep looking at that fight, looking at that fight, looking at that fight, looking at that fight, like he said, the more I watch it, then the more I'll probably be proud of myself and for what I did. But the more he look at that fight and he keep going over his father stopping that fight in his mind, even if he never confront his father about it, he gonna always feel some type of way about it. Like, damn, like because he don't feel like he went out on his shield. He felt like his father stopped that. His father said, well, you know, that's my son. And he gave this whole speech at the press conference thing about, you know, like it's a whole nother part to it. You know, this boxing is just a small part. You know, that's still my son. I'm still his father. I still can look out the window or look out my window and look across and see his house. I can still go, you know, hug my daughter-in-law. I can still go play with my grandchildren. I can still walk my dog and all this stuff he's saying. All this stuff he's saying. But Shawn Porter feels some type of way about his father stopping that fight. You can guarantee that. I don't care if y'all don't agree with me or don't believe what I'm saying. I'm telling y'all, he feels some type of way about his father stopping that fight. And that's why he said his legacy depends on it. Because his father is responsible. And I know Shawn Porter said, well, you know, my father felt like it was the best thing to do. I was taking too many shots. That's not the Porter way. That's not what we do. I guess that's their slogan. His father saying the boxing is a small part of it, but at the whole time, you so critical of your son. See, it's no different than like when Roger Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather's father was beefing. And Roger used to be like, you mad at me because your son wanted to come train with me. But your son wanted to come train with me because it's like every time he do something, it's, you doing this wrong. You doing that wrong. You doing that wrong. I said, well, damn. I'm doing everything wrong. You know what I mean? I'm the champion of the world. I won a championship. Then what is it that I'm doing right? And that's all Kenny Porter focused on is everything. That's why if you look at it, go back and look at all the videos leading up to the fight. No, do what I said, not what you want. You're not doing what I told you to do. But if he went out there and executed everything you told him and he still came up short, then that's a flaw in you. That's your fault. That's your fault because he tried to execute what you told him to do. You failed him. Shawn Porter didn't fail himself. His father failed him because he believed in the game plan that his father had and felt like that he was going to win it. But just like I said, he's just like a fighter that fights a certain type of way his whole career, and then you bring in a new trainer and think that they're going to show you something different and you're going to be able to go into the next fight and just adapt that whole new thing they taught you just like that. Nah, because at some point you're going to go right back to what you know. It's no different when Ricky Hatton fought Manny Pacquiao and he bought Floyd father in the training. Soon as he got cracked by Pacquiao that one time, he went right back to what he know, trying to be a bulldog. So even though they said they was tweaking and changing some things, Hera and Vera and all that kind of stuff, there were no real changes to make. And it all came out at the end when his father said, he admitted it. We ain't really changed nothing. It wasn't nothing to really change. We just, we did the same thing that we always do. So if y'all doing the same thing that you always do, and you did it in the big fights in the past, what made you think that it was going to work for you in this big fight? You can't just do the bare minimum against a fighter like Terence Crawford. You gonna come up short every time. Every time. You know, and listen, congratulations to Terence Crawford. Congratulations, salute to you, bud, on a spectacular finish and on a great victory. But, you know, shout out and salute to Shawn Porter. He put forth his best effort, you know, but he announced his retirement. And I think, like I said, he did that because he don't want to continue on with his father as his trainer. And he just turned 34 years old. So that's why he's like, man, if I can't win this one, I'm not going to be able to beat nobody else. I'm not going to be able to win no more bigger fights. It don't get no bigger than Terence Crawford. That's what Shawn Porter's way of thinking. If I can't beat this guy, I failed against Spence. I failed against Thurman. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, come on. Yeah, Broner was a big fight. But Broner was undermatched though anyway, even though Broner, you know, dropped him, you know, in the 11th round or something like that, I think it was. But even still. But when he got dropped by Terence Crawford, it's a certain look of worry that he has in his face where you could tell he can't make the adjustments. Like he don't know. He don't know how, and his father can't tell him how to make the adjustments. Because if that's the case, he would have did it in all the other big fights. But he fights a certain type of way, and that's the only way that he know. So if I'm aggressive, then be more aggressive. That's why I went in post-conference, you know, interview, press conference, he said he talked to Barry, and he was like, you know, he didn't make Terence Crawford as uncomfortable as he should have, and he allowed Terence Crawford to get into his comfort zone and be able, you know, to work off of that. You didn't allow him to get in his comfort zone. Terence Crawford made the adjustments. And you couldn't. Shawn Porter couldn't make the adjustments. And that's what I'm talking about. And again, please, y'all, don't like misconstrue like I'm insulting Shawn Porter or saying he's a bad fighter. I'm not doing that by no means. We're just speaking facts about boxing and about fighters and styles and how styles make fights and how styles do and don't match up when certain fighters are pinned against each other. This is simply what I'm saying, folks. He couldn't adjust. And so now, you know, he made the adjustments. And his father said he stopped the fight, you know, to protect his son. I'm going to put it to you like this. They both, Crawford and Porter, they did good considering, because you got to remember, they both had long layoffs. So to come back and put on a performance like that, most fighters, after having long layoffs like that, they don't usually jump right back in with the elite. They may take a tune-up fight between the two first before they pair up. But, you know, they said now was the time, and Shawn Porter said that him and Terence Crawford agreed that they wasn't going to make nobody, you know, they wasn't going to let nobody force them to fight, and if they fought, it would be because they wanted to fight. And they felt like the time was now. And Shawn Porter, like I said, he did not accept the fact that his father stopped the fight. He pissed about that. And I'm telling y'all, whether y'all hear about it a year from now or 10, 15 years from now, at some point, y'all gonna find out that when his father stopped that fight, he was upset about that. And even when he said it in a press conference after the fight, you know, he was like, "Well, my dad did it." He was like, "I didn't expect it," like, you know. But you can see it, like, yo, like, I didn't expect that from my dad. And I've been in situations like that. Like that's the case. Like he got dropped in the 10th round against Spence. His father didn't stop the fight then. He got dropped against Adrian Broner. Father didn't stop the fight then. He was trying to protect him. Should have stopped it then, but he didn't. You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, this is just my take on watching their interaction and everything going on with them leading up to this fight, and even some things before leading up to this fight. I just feel like that there was some tension between him and his dad. You know what I mean? And out of respect for his father, you know, he ain't going to clap back at his pop, or, you know, stuff like how Floyd and his father was going through it and all that kind of stuff. You know, and I'm not saying that to say Floyd didn't respect his dad. He don't love his dad. You know, Floyd, I'm sure he do. Floyd say it all the time. You know, he always say he loved his dad, you know, and he'd do anything for his father and all that stuff. So it ain't that. But it's just that, his father, you can tell Kenny Porter got that type of demeanor where he feel like he always has to be in control. And, you know, even if some other people are brought in the camp, you know, everybody gonna work off of what I say we doing. Y'all don't have no ideas. I'm the one that come up with all the ideas. You know, and me personally, like, I sense a little arrogance with his father. I do. And like I said, you know, Shawn Porter didn't want to insult his father by, you know, I'm bringing in a new trainer. I'm gonna get somebody else. So rather than to hurt my dad's feelings, I'm just gonna go ahead and retire now. I wouldn't be surprised if Shawn Porter got bit by that bug and was tempted to come back. You know, maybe after a year or so, and his father start working with other fighters. So now once his father get engulfed with working with other fighters, Shawn Porter start working with some other trainers or trainer. I'm telling y'all, it's something there. Y'all don't have to believe me, but I'm telling y'all, it's something there. So like I said, you know, y'all let me know y'all take on it. I mean, I said that he would catch him late in the fight, caught him late in the fight, stopped him. I still thought it was a good fight. I thought Shawn Porter gave a good account of himself, considering, you know, and me personally, even though he got knocked down twice, I felt like he could have made it through that round. Now, maybe I might have been looking at it wrong. Maybe, you know, y'all might be looking at it from a different angle or whatever. But I felt like he still could have made it out of that round. And I'm pretty sure Shawn Porter himself felt like he could have made it out of that round. Go back and watch that, the post-fight press conference, and listen to everything he's saying. Just really keen in and listen to what he's saying. I'm telling y'all, he's disappointed. Of course he's disappointed that he lost the fight because he believed that he could win it. But more than that, he's disappointed that he felt like his father took the opportunity away from him. I'm telling y'all, watch. At some point it's going to come out, and everybody that's going to drop them negative comments and start talking that garbage, when it finally do come out, whether it's a year from now to 10 years from now, y'all ain't going to be nowhere to be found when the truth come out. And y'all know it. You know, again, like I said, I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Man, listen, as always, man, listen, y'all my About Time Boxing family. You know what I'm saying? Y'all my Trill 100 Mil gang all day long. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. Don't forget to watch the videos, share the videos, and like the videos. Don't forget, pass the word about Rashawn's About Time Boxing and urge and encourage others to become part of the About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. We on to the next.